We're officially back, YouTube, and I am joined by my great buddy here, Seth Davis, via the phone. Seth, how you doing, man?
Oh, pretty damn good there, Pete. Always a pleasure to join you and your audience with Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. We've been working at this literally over a year now, bud, and it's been pretty amazing stuff. I do regret, unfortunately, not being able to join you via camera there or anything like that. But as you know, no internet and anything, at least out at the moment. Just working with phone.
Well, I'll tell you this, Seth. It's just having you here that's important because we got some, I don't know, awkward news is the best way to describe it today. Um, we might as well start off with the crazy one. This is out of Infowars.com, and they have it basically titled, Why did the U.S. launch a nuclear missile that would be visible from LA without any warning? Just after sunset, an unarmed Trident 2 nuclear missile was fired from a ballistic missile submarine just off the coast of Southern California.
Unarmed.
Yeah.
That's the important. That's the caveat there
I,
that we weren't picking up earlier there.
well, it's I gotta say it's kind of how Jones headlines it. He puts it like the most worst circumstance, like really bold and big, and then like right below
Yeah,
it.
but that's media, though, man. That's not just
Oh,
specific to
I
how it's
know, I
known.
know,
He's
I
he's
know.
a representative of that and plays into it as much as anybody. But that's unfortunately the
Everybody.
game a lot of those people are in. We're just trying to literally cover the news, man. We none of us make money. We're not getting an angle. We have no reason to want to bring more people into this by hyperinflating it. And that's what I was trying to find was of something to make it a little bit more reasonable as to why the hell this was happening. Now it seems pretty obvious that this is nothing but a message to China, essentially starting to try and like call a bluff, and could very easily be used as a military drill there as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I think that's an important point you just made is like think about it. If we're gonna go to war, it's gonna be with Russia, it's gonna be with China, and like definitely if it's where it sounds like we're preparing for China because we would hit them with nuke. We'd hit them with a nuke from a sub. Like that would probably be one of the first strikes. Like because they could hit important strategic targets from obviously closer in the middle of the ocean than they could here from the mainland if they could. But I'm sure they could still
Yeah, well, I mean, submarines,
at a
the
quicker
nuclear
rate.
subs like the Polaris and everything, those were a huge deal at the time because those changed the entire Cold War. I mean, the ICBMs and all that were coming for the most part there from like bases. Once you understand where people's missile bases are, you can just have your own missile bases targeted their missile bases, and it's a moot point. But once you have mobile uh, ballistic missiles there, all of a sudden now it's a whole other game. And in this case, we have thermonuclear weapons. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing though, there was no like cover up, no hiding of this at all. A lot of people right away thought it was UFOs because again, it went over, Arizona. People in Arizona and Nevada could see it, and it was like supposed to be this really bright, like flash. There's videos of it. The people in Northern California, where I saw my, unidentified flying object that I thought was some kind of craft that could have now actually been a missile as well. I see it right here that the people out where I used to live saw it as well.
Almost completely possible, Pete. I know. I don't want to get off topic there, but it's interesting that angle you just had of the aliens thing. Of so many people see this, and rather than being like, "Oh yeah, it's a missile or a test drill or anything," they're like, "Oh no, it's aliens," which immediately tells me that people, the public in general, is so ripe for the Project Bluebeam thing of using the like fake government sponsored phenomena to create the illusion of aliens in order to like manipulate people for whatever reason you can think of, imagine there.
Well,
And
that's one main thing that is admitted too is that how much money they actually put into getting people to, you know, basically giving money to Hollywood, promoting the alien films, having authors write books, people, you probably even paying people to say they've seen certain things, but they admit to, like giving money to Independence Day. That the
Yeah,
director.
well, Pete, how much of this stuff, even an alternative, so-called alternative or truth media out there of the aliens type crowd are completely and totally full of shit. Dude, you call it as it is, and I'll call it as it is, Pete.
Full
And
of
we've
shit.
both gotten a lot of flack over that. But most of those people are totally full of shit. Talking about everybody's just getting kidnapped. Certain individuals, Pete, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. That'll just drop some stuff on you, completely unsubstantiated, second-hand ass stories about some crazy stuff that happened to a guy that I know that for certain reasons I can't mention his name or anything empirical for us to ever have any kind of evidence for anything that I'm saying to back up my claim.
Or my dad confessed it on his deathbed.
Yeah, my great uncle, whatever, Ulrich confessed on his deathbed to being a Nazi scientist that worked with the aliens and whatever Xanadu.
Well, the other angle that like they go in that's interesting here is that I want to go into is that it was launched by Lockheed Martin, and
Of course, because Lockheed Martin's got to make money on this
you
deal.
know,
It's military-industrial complex, after all, man.
and yeah, it's basically the Trident nuclear missile that was fired as the largest NATO military exercise in 13 years, actually named Trident Juncture, is also coming to an end right now. So they think that that kind of coincides with one another. And
Yeah, I guess the Trident thing happens with, as far as the missile is because, like, the literal, like, actual, like, the maritime symbolism of all of that, of the Trident. So, yeah.
and
I could see how that's an angle or a parallel you could draw, but that also sounds like
I think
yeah.
that the incident just happened up in Montana is a perfect metaphor for how reckless the U.S. has become. An article posted by the Air Force Times is reporting that a vehicle that may or may not have been carrying nuclear weapon recently rear-ended by a security got rear-ended by a security vehicle. Uh,
Yeah,
it- yeah, I
that's
mean,
how our government transports things.
so
There's giant ass cargo containers out there being transferred on big long haul trucks that are filled with any of a number of specimens of like bio warfare type stuff that should scare the ever loving Christ out of anybody. Yet it's just easier to not think about it, to realize how completely and totally bare bones reckless everything has become, and how decadent and insane all these people have become. You realize how many, after a certain amount of time of making so many millions or billions or trillions of dollars, that it goes to these people's heads, and the amount of arrogance that comes with this, of being willing to even pretend to try and threaten China with a nuclear missile drill or whatever. Or like, give me a break. Do you think the Chinese government is going to flinch for a second over something like that, or the Russian government would flinch for a second over something like that? Give me a break.
no,
Do you think any government in the rest of the world fears the United States when they know for a fact that literally government malfeasance and arrogance can bring this country to its knees with the tiniest of push from any number of special forces that they have in our country? And I'm sure there are more than enough people that we have in theirs, but give me a break, dude.
no, I agree. I actually do, but I mean, this goes into another point I like to get into, going back to like the basically the Nazi scientists and things like the Tesla death ray. And do we have a weapon that other countries at this point can replicate? And is that why there's this fear of us? There's this global police, like just really it's expected by certain countries. Yeah, certain countries are upset about it, but why don't all these countries gang up on us and eventually just take us over, or just stop us as a
Is less
military?
of a body count for them in the short term and the long term,
uh,
or just let the United States tire itself out and collapse under its own weight? You
Yeah.
realize how much easier it's going to be if there is such thing, as much as they're trying to hype up either a race war or civil war in the United States, as any of a number of crap that the people out there, as far as political pundits, are pushing and rabble rousing people into, which is something that would not be beneficial to anyone here. Like, give me a break. Do you think a civil war or anything like that for all these rah assholes out there that want to start talking a big game would be beneficial to America? Look at what it's done to, well, look at what it did to America before, but look at right now what it's doing in the Ukraine. Look at right now what it's doing in Syria. Those are civil wars.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a civil war is, I mean, never good. I mean, even the Reconstruction of, here in the United States was some of the hardest times in our history.
Well,
Uh,
and you realize how much easier it would be the same way the United States and all these other countries are meddling in Syria to not only foment a civil war, but to actually like take advantage of the chaos that it creates. How easy it would be for other countries to do the same thing here in the United States, and who's to say that that's not already happening through different like corporations that are connected
well, a lot of
different
people
government
believe
entities
that's like the
that are
modern
bought out by
spying. That's modern spying is installing like sleeper cells
people.
and as well as internet hacking.
Yeah, well, we're talking like 50 years of this too, Pete. I mean, the
Yeah.
Cold War is a long ass time. This has been going on for. This isn't, and people that want to roll their eyes at me can like just chill on any of this, because so much of the stuff is already a matter of public record, as far as the United States trying to put as many sleeper cells as possible in Soviet-controlled countries,
Oh yeah.
including Russia, and how many Soviet sleepers have been like already ousted in the United States and still are in the United States.
Oh yeah.
It's
Just
insane.
like Ukraine. But
Yeah.
going on that angle, we have Britain. You had David Cameron has now put Putin on the terrorist list, right next to ISIS, and he's.
I'll go so far as to say David Cameron himself should be on that same list.
I was just gonna say. I mean, then Barack Obama's probably number one.
Yeah.
So I mean, he just basically points out that Putin's like blatant aggressiveness has increased involvement in the Middle East, and just like like they didn't have a global empire, and like they still don't with the
Yeah, it's
U.S.
pot calling the kettle black type stuff. It's more the
Yeah,
same.
I mean, but what kind of scares me is that's the kind of stuff that they pulled with Saddam. That's the kind of stuff they pulled with everybody before they
That's the
tried
stuff
to,
they pull with Adolf Hitler right before major involvements as far as world wars. So yeah, I get you, Pete.
you know, and yeah, we have Germantown migrants riot in church, steal from stores, and pee on gardens. Basically, like they,
Wow.
yeah, that's getting pretty bad out there to the point where there's family members we have out there that are writing and back to us talking about the panic and fear that is basically going across the country due to the migrants from the Middle East. But
Well, I get that, but at the same time, let's not pretend none of these countries played into this and didn't literally feast off of this country's natural resources like eating a corpse.
yeah.
It's disgusting, man. They literally helped these guys butcher this nation as far as its wealth. Any of them we could be talking about here, because Germany's just as guilty in this as anybody. I mean, they're not
Oh
quite as
yeah.
guilty as the United States is, or that the United Kingdom is, but they played their part as much as Italy, or as much as Spain, as much as France did. So give me a break.
Yeah, and people that like basically like are complaining about this are being called Nazis according to Infowars here. And many Austrians, which obviously is bordering country there, and
Yeah.
are buying shotguns. Well, in Germany, you can't have any guns, so they're buying pepper spray, and the sales are going up like tremendously. There's been rapes, theft, killing of pets, drug dealing, and
Yeah, but Pete, also to pretend that this is just a problem of immigrants is a misnomer that any of the number of these falling, decaying empirical societies have been, or imperialist type societies have just
yeah,
aren't willing to come to terms with, and people here want to act as though, I think somebody said to me at work today. I thought it was pretty appropriate there. Say we've got 19, or we've got 20 cookies here. That we've got a baker, an average American worker there, and an immigrant. And the banker takes 19 of the cookies and tells the worker that he needs to watch out because the immigrant's going to take the last one. And so he's going to let him fight over that. And that's pretty much what we're seeing here, just not just in the United States, but in other countries around the world, including Germany.
And then another report out of Germany here that I thought was interesting was that the Italian government attempted to cover up the arrest of convicted Al-Qaeda terrorists who tried to enter the country on a migrant boat last month, the German media claims. And I guess this guy was sentenced to 7 years for plotting multiple terror attacks. He's a Tunisian citizen, Ben Nazar Medal or Middle, something along like those lines. And he was initially hidden by authorities over fears that the news would basically cause panic among Italians. And he was arrested while traveling with more than 200 migrants, the police said. And he was seeking asylum in Europe in order to escape persecution after providing a false name.
Okay, Pete. I hope you can tear this one apart because I know I'm going to if you don't.
No, go ahead, brother.
Okay, man. Let's first and foremost, the Italian government trying to prevent panic. Give me a break. Literally, how much money and how much power these guys accrued, literally programming the Italians every bit as much as the German government has with the average Germans there, of being absolutely stark raving mad, afraid of immigration and of immigrants in general. Of this, all those other evil people in the rest of the region there. It's those evil Albanians or evil Macedonians or evil Greeks, or to the Greeks it's Albanians or Macedonians and vice versa. And like everybody, all the evil Turks and all these people and the evil Syrians and Iraqis and everything like that, or those damn Palestinians moving into my neighborhood there. Let's think for a second, Pete. How many of these people that are coming from war zones, how many Ukrainians have been moving into the region there? You need to understand that their governments have played a part in literally destroying these people's homes and destroying their communities and forcing them to move to your country so that they can, not live in an active war zone.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And yet somehow you and I and everybody, we're just supposed to be so freaking stupid that we can't get that we're supposed to, oh God, it's the problem's the immigrants, it's not the politicians, it's not the system, it's not literally the wars themselves that are driving all these people here. No, it's none of that stuff. It's them themselves. It's those evil whatever foreigners. Like I don't even know. I can't even pretend to espouse all that xenophobic bullshit.
Well, pretty soon, the way our country's going, we're going to be the ones migrating to Mexico or Canada or something. So we better.
Well, indeed, Pete, I'm infinitely more afraid of the people that run this government than I would ever be somebody like a bunch of immigrants coming from Latin America. I understand drug dealers or whatever, terrorists or some shit will come up with them, but that's anywhere. I mean, and to pretend that one run-of-the-mill dude that's dealing drugs, or regardless of how horrible this person could be, like the worst murdering psychopath in the world, to act as though they're more dangerous or more of a threat to me or my loved ones than the United States government is literally the most naive shit you could believe.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I mean, don't
hey,
you?
Man, I've got to slam down that Donald Trump bullshit that everybody's been running with lately.
Don't you actually see that is kind of bad though? A convicted.
No, it is. But Pete, that's the system. That's the politicians. That's the government that has created a system that allows people like that to come here in the first place.
Yeah, but that concerns me. Just too the police and the security and the how they got the TSA harassing us, but somebody like that could travel via, I don't care, via it's a boat or whatever. You still have to get to the boat. Yeah,
which tells you itself, the guys, the Cloward and Piven thing. people that actually run the government are literally collapsing the American economy in on itself so that they can consolidate power to regrow from that. That's the whole continuity of government thing.
Yeah.
Because they can't trust an actual open free market, because then,
And
God forbid, so many of these military contractors or government contractors, be it everybody from freaking Walmart to Lockheed Martin to whoever, anybody you can think of that is getting paid, might not have a monopoly on the market. So we have to destroy everything so that there is no market, and then we can create our own market afterwards.
that's true. It seems like they're definitely up in the game in Europe lately with that, and here as well. I mean, but
I mean, Europe especially, Pete. These guys need to be serious as far as supporting the United States or Britain, and actually examining their support of these guys. As far as stuff with Ukraine or Syria, there is, you realize Europe's right next to Russia there and everything. Everybody forgets about the Cold War, all this type of stuff. People were terrified of nuclear war with Russia, which is a reality, and yet, for some reason, nobody seems to be scared of that right now, and that fear needs to be there because that's healthy. That's what's called MAD, mutually assured destruction, and that literally kept people from starting the Third World War. So,
yeah,
something to think about.
yeah, no, you're right.
Because it's not worth killing somebody, even no matter how much you hate them or despise their political ideology or economic ideology, any of it, if it's going to kill everybody. It's not worth it.
And that seems to be their plan. It's to not fight Russia, but over, like you said, install all these terrorist groups around them, try to fund, internal political parties. Yeah, it's a coup.
Extensively on Truth is Stranger Than Fiction, and I respect the hell out of your audience members that have stuck with us through everything, and especially the people out there that I understand, like internet listeners and everything. You guys have had a lot easier time of sticking with us than the average person on the street there in Chicago that used to be listening to the show on Slam there and everything. But to anybody that stuck with us through this, you guys know, I mean, we've covered this extensively to the point where I get it for some people that have listened to us enough times where if it gets a little bit repetitive, but I feel like we have to keep hammering on this for people that haven't heard it, because it vindicates, or at the very least validates, people that have a similar thought pattern to ourselves there on any of this.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you pointed that out, because it's not like we just feel it's not like we're not consciously doing this. We're doing this because there's new people every day that tune into a show and haven't heard us say it before. And for those that have, I mean, I think you guys should understand how serious of an issue it is, and that we do need to pound it into the brain of the new listeners so that they can then share that with people that wouldn't have heard it, and it spreads.
Exactly. And so much of it, I mean, we could do entire shows on just political overthrow, or how to install guerrillas in power to be able to harass like an incumbent or a ruling government in order to create a conflict that you can use to drive up goods prices or whatever in a certain area, and it's outrageous, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see what they're doing it firsthand here. My grandma, I'll share this on air, has never complained of money, like to the point where, like, a tax. She said because of Rahm Emanuel's new property tax, and a lot of people are also saying the same thing, that they literally cannot afford it, and we might have to leave Chicago.
Well, Pete, I do have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is a serious one, so we might have to get serious here for a minute.
No problem.
How is Rahm Emanuel still not in prison?
Well, if you look, well, you can't look, but anyone watching the live event could see, or the video after could see right now, stop Rahm Emanuel right for Chicago. Right behind me, there's a sign. It doesn't say Rahm Emanuel, it says stop. I think you could see that's in permanent marker. I'm glad, but I don't. That's the whole reason that he basically hasn't is because no one's trying to stop him besides me. I mean, I've done petitions. I've tried to draw attention to to all his crimes and all the raping and pillaging he's done of the taxpayers and the people he's thrown in prison, but nothing seems to resonate enough to cause enough people to stand up and say, "Hey, this is BS." Hammond Square. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, and the
Well, Pete, we covered it the other day. There are something like 4 or 5 thousand people at least that have been rounded up to the different detention centers around Chicago within like the last year.
yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm not one.
Well,
Yeah,
and Pete, that itself is one thing. Whereas, as sad as you might be with the history and everything, there, man, I won't be that sad when you leave Chicago, dude, because it's you literally are in like the heart of Mordor type stuff, and it's not. How the hell are you going to try and eke out a living and everything when quite literally you're like on the whatever the plains of doom or something with like ash falling everywhere and a bunch of orcs running around? It doesn't really work out.
no, with the job I work once a week at, right at this time.
Yeah. Well, no, dude, you got to have something, and they make it impossible there for you to live. You know what I'm talking about, and I've talked to you this entire time, man, and I just hear it draining out of you. This city killing you. But I have a feeling it's not just you, brother. It's doing that to everybody in the same way that all these major population centers are quite literally, ironically, killing the people that live there.
Oh yeah, quite literally too. I mean, I've seen beautiful days just turn into just cloudy days right above me because all the air traffic going to O'Hare, and you could just smell it in the air. It's the fumes, and on top of that, you got just financially the lowering of the living standards, the health benefits of being able to actually afford good meals or eat at McDonald's. Like unfortunately, I've been having to do is eat at fast food places, and
That's the only thing you can get with, unfortunately, it's a freaking dollar menu or whatever,
yeah.
because anywhere that's like an actual restaurant, God forbid, is like $20 a plate just to get something cheap. So yeah.
And I got my dogs I got to take care of too, so
Yep.
yeah, I mean that's what they're doing. They are killing me slowly. I'm losing a lot of weight. It's yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough on my grandpa's getting really bad. My grandma's getting worried sick. She's has to take blood pressure medication for the first time in her life due to basically all the BS happening around here with politics with Rahm Emanuel. And there's a lot of people that are pissed off, but almost like Adolf Hitler, this guy has like a total grasp over the media. And
Well, yeah, but that's you and I both know why that is.
yeah, and the propaganda which is put out daily, it's just sickening. The criticisms never go far enough, just enough to tell you what's going on, but never to imply that this needs to stop.
Yeah, that he's literally a criminal that literally needs to be in prison, literally right now,
Yeah,
right this very minute. So yeah, no,
yeah,
I get that,
yeah.
but
It's,
people they're always going to play that game, man. I mean, there are times I've questioned who's worse, him or Obama, as far as the media ass kissing, and I'd say Obama as far as the volume of it all around the United States and like the Western media in general and everything. But as far as where you're at, Pete, there ain't nobody that runs shit like Rahm Emanuel.
no, no. He's gonna. I'm scared how long it's gonna be like this too, man. Pretty soon he's gonna drain us all of our.
Like, dude, stuff like literally that makes Al Capone seem like a chump, like a backwoods chump.
I mean, it's just something as obvious that some people every single day deal with is like how much the taxes have been raised. At tolls, on food, at grocery stores, on water, everything you could imagine, city stickers, just everything.
Well, look at the budget. You and I have done that before, literally looking at the individual stuff for the proposed budgets for each of the individual years. And that's how we found a lot of different stuff there as far as like contractors and different kind of like fishy type stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
going on in the area there. And that's part of it. And it's insane to think that that much money that we're talking billions and billions of dollars, man, that people's tax money is just going into this big monster Chicago government.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, for God's sakes, Pete, O'Hare Airport has its own freaking lake now.
Yeah.
Lake O'Hare. How crazy is that?
There's construction everywhere, unfinished around the city, but man, O'Hare's changing by the day. I mean, it keeps getting different and more different and more different every day. I drive there, which like once a week, and it's so nice looking compared to the rest of the city. It's like that. It seems like that's where all the money went.
Pretty much. Unfortunately, well, when we looked at the budget, that is where a lot of it goes, lining the pockets of these individual bureaucrats, and pretty much going to like a trifling amount to like the schools and stuff, which they used to justify and like hold everybody at gunpoint of, if we have to slash funding, we'll have to take it from education, or we'll have to take it from infrastructure. And it's like, my ass.
Yeah, they take it from, they close the poor schools and they give the rich schools, public schools, even more money. The ones in better neighborhoods.
Well, I mean, Pete, look at how much money just on the books Rahm Emanuel and his immediate staff get paid.
Yeah.
That itself could be enough to take care of a couple schools.
And then
for an entire year.
Takes care of the cops with the pensions, and he takes care of he's got everybody.
Yeah, well, every last one of those groups you're talking about there, the cops, the doctors, whoever, every last little thing like a union or whatever that you could come up with is, well, it's Chicago, man. It's the mob. It's the fucking mob. The city government is the mob. Every bit as much as whatever individual criminal kingpin or whatever, like, union boss or whatever.
Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, man, that's the last news story I got for today. So, I mean, I figured we just run a little test broadcast. Seth and I are both working. Hopefully, I might actually have 2 jobs. I'm still crossing my fingers on that.
That'd be good. You get some more hours, man, because I know what it's like being broke, not having nothing in it sucks.
Yeah, man, it's rough times. So I've been applying for jobs like almost like at least dedicating 5 hours a day. So hopefully something comes up soon. But we're gonna try to do our best to get more of these shows rolling. And don't forget to check out 2 Real News. Seth, Seth, why don't you tell everybody the times of your show and how you could get it, and basically, pitch it for a little bit before we let you go.
Oh, absolutely. Well, for those of you with internet out there, I would definitely recommend checking out 2realnews.com. That's number 2, real, REAL, news.com. And you can find that. Some wonderful stuff on there. A lot of the articles I've done. I unfortunately haven't been able to do nearly as many articles in the last few months as I've wanted to since I've been working, but that's as it goes there. You can still find all the original articles there. You can find up-to-date aggregate of different news of alternative media and international media, just putting that together to give people a little bit better understanding of politics, economics, world events, everything like that around them, as well as a couple other things we throw in there, like curveballs and whatnot, such as archaeology, science, history, anything like that you can think of. It's pretty cool news, as well as what somebody would refer to as olds there. Those things that aren't quite so new, but are just things that nobody's really looked into, at least not as much as I would have liked. But you can definitely check out the 2 Real News show, which is 2 Real News with me, Seth Davis, Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Media Broadcasting Center. That's mbc.com.
All right, brother. Good job. And yeah, no, it's always fun coming on your show, and I love the structure, and it's very different from this show. As far as time schedule goes, I like having the producer and someone else to throw some things out there for us that we probably normally wouldn't have thought of. So it's always awesome going on.
We're a little bit looser here with Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. I've always respected you with that, man. Is that we've created an environment with this show that man, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've had guests on and stuff, with like some of the interviews that I set up for you back in the day there, like last year, that just, they would never say that on an Alex Jones. They'd never say what they I said on Russia Today or on a Mint Press News or on anybody's crap, man. Anybody, these guys, all these so-called like alternative media shows that you just legit let these people say what the hell they wanted to say and not try and like superimpose your preconceived notions upon them.
Oh no, man. That's one thing a lot of people have complimented me on, and thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. It means the world to me. Is yeah, it's First Amendment, man. Let them say what they want to say. I didn't get them on to kiss my ass, and I didn't have them on to sit there and kiss their ass either. I want them to feel comfortable, and by doing that, allow them to basically speak their mind freely, whereas I don't think they would, like you said, on any other outlet, period.
Yeah, well, I mean, just before we go here, I'd like to encourage anybody that has access to it to check out, especially on your YouTube, the Truth is Stranger Than Fiction YouTube channel, your interviews that you did, even though the audio quality is not the best. If somebody has headphones there can and listen to it, your Wayne Madsen interviews, because I think those are some of the finest like just radio that you could possibly ask for, man. Because that guy, as we were talking about with Rahm Emanuel and Barack Obama and everything earlier, he is second to none. And I feel like the interviews he did with you are as powerful as anything you could ask for, man.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Everyone should check out those Wade Madsen interviews. And
That
actually,
was better than Alex Jones. That was better than anything, man.
I might give him a call or shoot him a text and see if he wants to come back on.
Yeah, well, the guy's a wealth of knowledge and is balls to the wall. He literally is like, there's nobody I know that could say some of the stuff and have done some of the stuff he's done with just. And I'm sure he's been afraid for his life at times, but at the same time, you just get an energy off the guy, like some vibes from him that are just.
He's a good
He
guy.
doesn't even.
He's a good guy. He's
Yeah.
one. I mean, like Bill Scott, and him. Like some of the guys from the SPC. I mean, to this day, I still get texts every now and then from them. So and I respect him for that tremendously. Because see, I could text him. I think I let him know that my mom passed, and he right away got back to me and. It's just very courteous, nice guy, and that's why I love having him on the show too. It's just I believe every word that comes out of his mouth. I think that he's a credible whistleblower and one of the first and a hero, a true hero, or even more so than Edward Snowden because he's still here, still doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Edward Snowden could only do what he did by having the precedence of other NSA whistleblowers, such as William Benny or Wayne Madsen there.
Yeah. So everybody should check out the Madsen report too, Wayne Madsen report, because
Yeah.
that's
Well, I was just thinking about that before we go. I was just thinking about that earlier of your interviews and stuff of like William Bloom or anything like that. They're absolutely huge, like bombshell type interviews for anybody else. But because it's Truth is Stranger Than Fiction, it's completely like, you know what I mean, like downplayed of just, oh yeah, we're just interviewing so and so, and it's just like a little hour type deal there. And some of those are just amazing, man.
thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I put a lot into that, and like at times we've reached points that I never thought we'd reach, but how everything just ended so fast, it's still sad, but
Well, we're getting it
never do I
in
regret.
waves, man, and it's been a really weird journey through all this type of stuff. But I'm proud to still be with you through all this stuff, Pete. Because
Yeah, thank you,
there's nothing else I'd
Seth.
rather be doing, brother.
I appreciate you being with me too, man, because there's not too many people around like you that will they're basically a man of your word, and you've been there for me like through the some of the hardest times of my life here with my mom, so I appreciate that, and a lot of fans too. I appreciate you guys sticking with me too through these hard times, and like Seth said, we're gonna rise. We're gonna
That's how
keep
we do.
working hard. We're gonna get ourselves back to what we were in our prime, but it's
Better even, man. Better even.
but yeah, yeah, because our ceiling's high. We just got to start, dedicating ourselves, and then with our resources and and a lot of people on, with limited time, it's hard, but we're gonna do the best we can to bring the truth to the people, because we realize that even some of the people we thought were doing that have their own agendas and aren't really doing a good enough job that satisfies me, at least.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I guess that's it, brother. That we're about to end the show right before the 10th, so it's officially, November 9th of 2015. And again, check out tworealnews.com, and check out Seth Davis on Facebook, Twitter, all that. And I appreciate everybody watching. Go check out the Truth is Stranger Than Fiction Facebook page, or Pete Wichert, or type my Pete Wichert on Twitter. I mean, I'm everywhere, Google Plus. But yeah, share this link and get this information out, and hopefully we'll be having some guests on. And Seth next time will be joining us visually.
Hmm.
We had some technical difficulties, we'll say that, for the time being, just setting up this new live events under, again, Truth Stranger, first name Truth, last name Stranger, but it'll be posted to the regular Pete Wickard YouTube page.
Right on. Well, thank you for having me on your show there, Pete, and thank you to everybody for listening. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Seth. God bless, brother.
God bless, man. Good night.
Good night. And on that note, good night to everybody else. It's about to turn midnight, and I'm gonna eat something and go to bed. But I appreciate Seth coming on, and I appreciate you guys who are gonna watch this, and I appreciate everybody who stuck with us. And I promise you this: we're gonna come back bigger and stronger than ever. Have a good night. God bless.